different bands, yeah.
And one thing I noticed,
Yeah, the business cards and yeah.
and yeah, December's Children. And they misspelled your name. Steve Carrasas.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they all say Rogers Productions on.
He really helped a lot of this group. I remember Captain Crutch and the crew. I remember seeing him. He ended up buying a place. It was an old garage, and at one end he had one stage, and at the other end he had another stage. And by the time this band got...
Was that the psychedelic?
That was the Psychedelic Grape. It was first called Wing Island. It was called Psychedelic Grape. But you'd walk from one end down to the other end, the people would. And you'd play here, and then when you're done playing, people walk down the other end of the stage, the other end. And it was fantastic to play there, too. That was a nice place to play. I liked it.
And this was all Rogers bought that.
Rogers, yes, bought the building.
So he had a small business downtown and
did the whole thing. A lot of production there. He started knowing a lot of people, getting to know a lot of people with Wing. Like I said, I was Wing on for a while. It was just, and the songs that were coming out. When I got into December's Children,
were you guys doing? Was everyone? Were bands starting to do original material, or was it mainly cover?
There was a few bands doing original material, and I think that's probably where we missed the boat. We didn't have anybody writing.
Right.
We just were having such a good time being out playing and performing.
That was kind of your ceiling.
That was,
yeah.
We were always like, well, why did that band make it and we didn't? Well, it's because we didn't write any songs, maybe. You know?
Right. Dang. Right. Yeah.
I remember McKinley Park down by the Art Institute. Are you familiar with that?
Mm-hmm.
That little park?
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember sometimes just playing for free just to play.
Yeah.
Because we enjoyed playing so much.
Sure. Sure.
The old ice cream truck would pull up. Of course, he's got a generator. And you could plug your amps into the generator, and if you didn't plug too many amps in,
you
could sit right out there and have a concert, free concert outside.
So is there pretty much music going on like every night of the week, or?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
There was somebody playing somewhere.
It's crazy to think that, here, from here and looking back to then, it sounds like there was probably more live music going on back then,
Oh, there was a lot of live music. Like I said, the ones who didn't
stick
with it long enough to learn guitar or whatever, they'd fall by the wayside. But then the guys that were playing all the time would actually get better. I remember I was the old guy in the band. Of course, like I said, I'm 17, 18, and they're 14, so I'm kind of the King Tut of the group.
Right, you're getting long in the tooth at 18, right? Yeah.
I'm the senior, so
right.
I remember telling the guys to go over, and we might go for one song, one whole practice, just to make sure that it was perfect, and the endings were right, and all the right parts were there.
So that's how you distinguish yourself.
I think that made a lot of difference. Yeah. I was never a great singer. I'm an okay singer. But I think the tightness of the band made the difference and made you sound more professional. And I remember the guys whining about, well, it's good enough, it's good enough, it's good enough. Well, that's how many bands do the song 3 times and go, well, that's good enough. Let's learn another song.
Yeah, yeah.
The problem we had back in '65, I can go down this list of songs in '65, and there were so many songs coming out in '66, '67, you couldn't learn them quick enough.
Right.
And these songs, Wooly Bully, and some of these Righteous Brothers songs, all these songs are still popular today. It's amazing that the songs...
I remember Ira saying that one summer he took the summer off and just to learn a whole new catalog of songs.
Cream and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
We had new bands coming out, new groups coming out. It was a time where there was a change, and the whole world was changing. Like I said, we had the Vietnam War going on, and a lot of this stuff is protest music, of course. But when you're young, crank the amp up, maybe we could yell at people. They'll hear us better if we turn it up a little bit more. And even the amplifiers became, some of them went from 60 amp, which is the biggest you could get, to 100 amp.
Yeah.
So it was a time when the world was changing, society was changing, and I just happened to got caught right in the middle of it.
Timing's everything, right?
I was just lucky to be where I was at the time and be fortunate enough to play with a bunch of good musicians.
It's interesting how music started to change, and the Beatles dropped. We have an old picture of the Rolling Stones playing at Hara Arena.
Yeah, they said they'd never play again. Did you hear that one?
It was, and they show the floor, and it's like, it's half empty, if not more.
Yeah, they said they were, the story behind that is they love the blues. And they came to record at somewhere down south.
Muscle Shoals.
Louisville or somewhere. But they wouldn't let them in because they weren't black.
Really? You can't, you're not a police.
So they come all the way from England over here.
Yeah.
And they got
down
turned
south.
down.
Like, you're English. What are you doing here? Yeah, right.
Well, well, you like the blues, go ahead and play your blues, but you're not going to record here. It might have been King Records.
Okay.
I'm wanting to think because I recorded down with a group down in the same area. I can't remember where was that. Anyway, so the Stones didn't have any money to get back, and they were hurting for money.
Yeah.
And they ended up, somebody booked them Hara Arena. They didn't go over very well.
Yeah.
It didn't pack the place. They didn't go over very well. They said, "I'll never be back."
Yeah, we had a news clipping too, and it was
really?
And it was awful. Yeah,
Yeah.
They was just,
no one
just
liked
panning them, just saying how
yeah, no one liked them. It's funny though.
It's funny.
But with society changing, and it's okay to be different, and it's okay to be artistic, and it's okay to be folk music. And we also, I heard Jim say something about, we were fortunate because a lot of the parents worked in the factories here in town and could afford a guitar and amp for the kids.
Jim Foreman.
Jim Foreman, yeah, mentioned that, which is true. A lot of the parents had decent jobs, and they could afford the parents to buy their kids. The parents could afford to buy their kids guitars and amps, which was good. But also, a lot of Southern people came up from Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia to get these factory jobs at General Motors. When they came up, a lot of them played bluegrass, a lot of them played country.
Brought the music with them, yeah.
They brought the music with them, so Grandpa could play that country guitar, and Dad could play that mandolin, and so a lot of the kids that I know, like Fran Davis, whose dad played mandolin or banjo or whatever, the parents were teaching the kids, helping them how to play. I don't like her music, but it's kind of cool to learn how to play guitar.
Right.
So I don't like the music, but hey, that's kind of cool that you're taking after Dad and playing a guitar.
Well, and it's kind of a melding with kind of probably with the bluegrass Appalachian tradition that was in Dayton. I
remember, where did I meet him at? I met Question Mark from Question Mark and the Mysterians somewhere way back when. I was talking to him, and I was kind of shocked because he was Hispanic. And I go, "Oh wow, man, you got a good voice." "Ah, yeah." Well, they were kind of a one-hit wonder. They did maybe a couple songs, but they were a good group, nice guys. They were all Hispanic. They moved up from Texas to Michigan. Their picture was never on any of their albums because they were Hispanic.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
I heard of that before. We actually visited the Motown Museum, and they talked about the marketing and album covers and
it's sad
how that was done. Yeah.
It's just sad that it was that way. And even in '65, I remember there was a guy that I worked with at the car wash, a black guy, and I want to take him to this diner to get something to eat. And he goes, Steve, I can't go in there. And I go, well, just get a sandwich. No, I can't go in there.
Yeah.
Why? He says, they don't like black people in here, Steve. And I felt so bad I was going to buy his lunch. And
Yeah.
so I still saw a lot of that riding on the back of the bus, or you know, to cross the street instead of walk by you. And
Things were
I
changing.
got to see a lot of that, and we all wanted to change that. It came. I don't know how it grew. It just kind of came along with all this music and this, and the, you know, no Vietnam, and let's have peace, not war. It was a changing time that I got to go through. I'm glad I went through the '60s that way. And the music, people are listening to the music and they're liking it, and when they start listening to the words, they go, "Oh, I get it now."
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah.
But as the music progressed, you know, we got the Byrds and we got a lot of Bob Dylan stuff, and there was a lot of protest music. Unfortunately, some of our friends were coming back in coffins from Vietnam too.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember a friend of mine that played guitar. He got drafted and unfortunately lost his life, Donnie Brewer. But anyway, I was with December Children for a while. Ira ended up leaving the group and going with Victorian Skiffles, which was a really well-known group started by Bob Lamore.
Mm-hmm.
And this band kind of disbanded. I went with another group in Miamisburg called the Dayton Sound, where I was a lead singer.
The Dayton Sound.
The Dayton Sound, they were from Miamisburg. I had a friend, Bill Cadill, who was with BC and the Cavemen. The bass player was a friend of mine called Mike Lazara. And he was actually the old guitar player for a group that used to play at the Psychedelic Great called The Things. He was in a band called The Things. Well, we were all friends. And they were a three-piece group. And I get a call one night, and I said, we didn't have cell phones.
Right.
I get a call at the house. Mike Lazara goes, I'm in Fairborn. This is 1970. We're in Fairborn right now. We need a drummer. Can you call Tommy Meyer or somebody? I said, well, where's Sonny Songer at your drummer?
We have a drummer emergency. Right.
He said, he's AWOL from the service. The MPs just picked him up.
Really?
I said, what? He said, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. He was actually, they were setting stuff up in Fairborn. And so I called Tommy Myers. Can't get a hold of Tommy Myers. I call a couple other drummers I know, even Mike Delaney, my old drummer. Can't get a hold of anybody. So Mike Lazara, half hour goes by, calls me back. Did you get a drummer? We got to play here in about 45 minutes. I said, no, Mike, I can't find you one. He goes, well, get your ass down here. You know how to play drums? I go, I know 3 or 4 beats. I'm not that good at drums. He says, you're going to play tonight. So I ended up showing up at Fairborn and playing the dance. And at the end of the night, did pretty good. I didn't do anything fancy. I just kept a straight beat. And the night, Bill Cadill says, now we're going to practice Tuesday. Can you make it? You have anything planned for Tuesday at 6 o'clock? And I go, okay, that's fine. So I ended up going to practice with him. So after practice, I go, Bill, I got to ask you a question. Am I just filling in to you until something happens? He goes, no, I want you to play drums. I go, well, I'm not that good. He said, Steve, in a 3-piece group, I want a basic drummer and basic bass. Because too many drummers I know put too much in there and it gets too gobbled. You can't do that in a 3-piece group. I want basic. He said, you and Mike, the bass player, Mike Lazara, I should be able to walk off stage and you guys should be able to keep the rhythm going. I said, okay. Well, Bill was an absolute, he loved harmony. So I stayed with the group, and he said, yeah, I talked to Sonny Songer's mom, and you can play Sonny's drums, and till you get your own set. So I ended up playing Sonny's set until I saved up enough money to buy my own set from playing out. But what's kind of weird about it is Bill Cadell he wanted harmony he just wanted it squeaky clean.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being in this basement and we're doing Find the Cost of Freedom. Three of us. And all of a sudden the lights go out. I go, well, what'd you turn the lights out for? He says, I want you to concentrate on the harmony. I want you to hear Mike, I want you to hear me, and I want you to hear yourself. He says, I want you to concentrate on that part. You're part of the harmony. So we practiced that song, I don't know, 5 or 6 times in the dark with just an acoustic guitar playing. And I'm like, well, yeah, man, I can really hear Mike's part.
Education.
Now, and I can really hear Bill's part now. And I'm like, that's the strangest thing I ever heard of.
Yeah.
But then when we played at Right Stock, we did that song, and it was basically a cappella, and the people just were like silent, like, oh, did we screw up? And all of a sudden they cheered after we got done. There was like a pause when we quit, and then they cheered when we got done. So it was a smart thing, and I really got into singing harmony. I just thought harmony was so cool. I love harmony. Today I still help coach some kids, younger people in harmony. I know some people that do duets and things, and I'd like to help them with their harmony and their expression, and just to help them get the feeling of the song.
Yeah.
And it's fun to do that.
And it speaks to what you were talking about, because you were talking about artists having this thing in common. And it sounds like that you really learned and kind of developed, you started on drums and you're singing, and then your guitar, and then learning how to listen and hear the music and develop harmony.
Yes, it was about the dynamics too. I still see young people today. Of course, you say something. There's a girl I know that's a young girl that's got a good voice, but she has no dynamics in her voice, and she sounds like she's singing just on one note.
Right, right.
And I mentioned to her one time I'd work with her on her voice, and I think
Did you help?
No, she didn't like being
Didn't like being coached. Didn't like being told how to sing.
Yeah. She didn't like being criticized.
Who's this guy judging me? Yeah.
Well, criticized. Oh God, it was so funny. I was at a club. For some reason, I can always pick out a natural. I can pick out a natural. There's 3 young kids today that I picked out. One's I've been following for 8 years, Scotty Breacher. First time I heard that kid, I said, he's a natural.
Scotty Breacher?
Breacher.
Local musician?
Lead guitar player. Some just got that natural talent. Matter of fact, Iris got him under his wing right now. Bonner Chafin's another kid. It's the first time I heard him at open mic night at Taffy's in Eaton. I said, that kid's got talent. Even the owner said, that kid? I said, yeah, he's going to be something. Anyway, I'm at Taffy's one night, and there was this young group. And I'm sitting at this table, it's pretty packed, and there was this couple, they were probably in their 40s, and I'm in my 60s.
So this was not too long ago?
Not too long ago, a couple years ago. And there was this girl bass player, and I'm like, she was unbelievable. I mean, this girl was like 16, 15, playing bass, and she was like on it. I mean, she was on it. I'm like, man. So I'm watching this girl and this couple, I'm sitting at their table, I didn't know them, kind of looking back at me, and I'm checking this girl out. After they got done playing, the young girl comes over, it was her parents.
Oh, really?
and I told her, I says, you are fantastic. She goes, well, I've only been playing bass for about 6 months. Now, I've been a keyboard player. And I go, well, some people are just natural, and you've got the talent.
6 months, wow.
Keep doing what you're doing. And the parents turned around to me and go, well, we were wondering what you were doing. Keep staring at our daughter.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I said, she has talent. He goes, I understand now.
Right.
I'm sorry, I was staring. I said I was staring at her talent.
Yeah.
But it's funny the people. I mean, Jerry Lee Lewis and just some of the people that I met over the years, and just you perform.
You met Jerry Lee Lewis in town here.
Jerry Lee Lewis, the Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah,
met him once before. And we opened for the Coasters one time.
Yeah.
The people you meet. It's funny. I had a call from Taffy's one night from the owner. He says, I have somebody coming in town and I need a place to hide him out. I had a Victorian house, big old Victorian house at the time. And he says, he's a very private person. He says, could he stay at your house for an evening while he performs here? I said, yeah, that's fine. So he said, he'll be calling you here. I gave him your number. He's in town. I said, yeah, that's fine. So he comes in and turns on the doorbell and went to the door, brings the suitcases in. I said, kept asking Manford, well, who is it? He said, don't worry about it. He just, well, here was Paul McCartney. He's a guitar player from Wings.
Really?
Yeah. And it was so funny. I don't know whether they get starstruck or not. And I'm like, Lawrence Juber.
Lawrence Juber.
Lawrence Juber was his name.
And when was this?
This was only about 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. And he was tired from the road, and he was performing at Taffy's, and he comes in, and you want anything to drink? No, I'm kind of tired. I said, well, fine. And so anyway, that night he performed one of the best acoustic guitar players I've ever heard. Next morning, I said, you want to go for breakfast? He said, no, I'd rather just have donuts or something. I said, oh, that's fine. I got some donuts here, coffee. And we're sitting there talking about music. And it was just two musicians. It wasn't a star and some guy. We were just talking about playing music and our families and his daughter writes and being on the road and playing here and playing there. And all of a sudden it was... I didn't realize how famous the guy was till he left. It was just two musicians just carrying on a conversation, just having a good time talking about music.
Yeah.
And you'll find that common bond with any of the group that was here. We'll talk about music.
Right.
The one girl, she was Janet Orr. She's well known, believe me.
Oh, the drummer?
Yes.
Og?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very well known. Very well known.
Yeah.
I didn't know that she was roommates with Ron Riddle, which was Blue Oyster Cult.
He was the drummer. Is that right? And he played
Ron Riddle, which
Blue Oyster
he
Cult.
writes.
They named another band also.
Yeah, he was in a different group, but he writes for all the Discovery Channel, all the background.
Yeah, he came up several times.
But he went to actually him and
the
her.
Cars. I think they said the Cars. That maybe he played drums with the Cars. Or
No, Blue Oyster Cult.
Okay.
Was the name of the group. But they were roommates when they went to Berkeley school.
Yeah,
I
right.
didn't know that
Right.
I talked to her, but I'm fortunate. I got to play. I played from '64 up to about 2007 before I quit playing in groups.
I was going to ask you that. When did it?
Just
what was your career? What was your job? Was it?
Well, I never did go on the road. There was times that I wanted to, but I didn't. I got married and had responsibilities. But
did the music sustain you?
yes, and it's funny. The last group I was in was called the Studelacs, and
the Studelacs.
Studelacs. We ended up doing 50s and 60s music, just the same music we did.
Like Studebaker and Cadillac, is that?
They actually made a car like that. And we had a good time playing it. I worked a lot of hours, and it was taking a toll on playing Friday and Saturday night, and then working some Saturdays. And it got to the point where I've done this enough. It's not.
Well, from '64 to what? '07? Is that what you said?
2007.
Got it.
And
Yeah.
I still do blues jams occasionally. Go out and they usually got a drum set up, and I go out and do blues jams. So
Yeah. So you played a lot? Did you travel? Did you play locally most of the time?
Yeah, I worked most of the time. There was one time I got a call I was in the musicians union. I got a call from a group that was needing a drummer, and they were getting ready to do a cruise ship. And I'm like, oh man, I just got married, and I can't do it.
Yeah.
A cruise ship tour. I enjoyed every minute of playing. Like I said, at the end, it just got to be where I was tired. But
Well, those hours aren't ideal.
well, I was in sales. I worked 50, 60 hours a week, and then you're playing Friday night, Saturday night, sometimes Sunday.
So you did have another job.
Yeah,
that you
another
did.
job.
Yeah.
But as far as the peak period was from 64 to 68, 69. That was probably the most fun. I had a lot of energy.
So those were your high school years, pretty
yeah.
much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I got to watch the world change a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I said, besides the music, the society was changing at the same pace.
Mm-hmm.
Are you following me on that?
Yeah.
Along with the music, the society was changing.
The music was kind of mirroring the changing society.
Music was changing style a little bit, but we had a great time. There was things were different. We were into peace and share with your brother, and it wasn't like the times are today. It didn't, even though there was bullies back there. Like I said, I'm get off music, play guitar. We didn't have video games to play. We didn't have, and a lot of things different. We didn't have parents who. I know we had to get on parents' nerves when we were practicing in garages. Never once was there a phone call calling the police because the music was
neighbors complaining, and
no problem there.
Good luck with that today.
And we had neighborhoods where if I acted up 3 blocks away before I got home, my mom knew about it. I mean, the woman from parents teacher would call mom.
I think that's the difference in neighborhoods where everybody kind of, knew all the families in the neighborhood.
Everybody in the family.
Yeah.
And it was a great time. Like I said, there were some moments. Like I said, when I took the black friend of mine out to eat, and he couldn't go in the restaurant. It kind of full diner. It bothered me.
But it was real change is slow.
Yeah, there was real changes, and I got to see a lot of the changes.
Yeah.
And the music got mixed up. There was all of a sudden it's not an all white band or all black band. Sometimes you'd see a black bass player and a white guitar player, and a Hispanic conga player. So the bands, when Santana come out, I'm like, oh man, Carlos Santana. So we got to flavor the folk music, the soul music, the Hispanic music, and it was a big influence on all of us. We were like eating different flavored ice creams.
Yeah,
we got to, and we do some of the music also.
So you played primarily rock, but you were influenced also by.
Yeah, because a lot of times, like the first year I played, and almost the second year, there wasn't that many songs. Not till about '66 was the charts full of the British beat. You still had. I mean, I'd go down here and You Lost That Love and Feeling. I remember doing that song, Righteous Brothers. Shotgun by Junior Walker and the All Star. I remember doing that. The Supremes. I never did any Supreme song, but there was a lot of soul songs we would do. We would do 50 songs too, some of the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
We had to fill in. You'd have to have about 45 to 50 songs a night to perform.
Right.
So you can't do 45 or 50 Beatles songs. So you got to fill in with something. And so some of the songs we really enjoyed. The new stuff coming out. Some of the soul music, some of the different sounds. Peter, Paul, and Barry, Bob Dylan. Just different stuff. But
so there were different clubs that kind of catered to different kinds of music. I mean, were there like
it was kind of open. It was kind of open. It was kind of open. It really
so